Let's practice solving some equations. In a previous video, we solved equations that had fractions in them. These are similar. However, in these, the denominators of the fractions can have variables. Let's see how to handle that. What we did in previous videos was we multiplied both sides of the equation by the common denominator. This only has one denominator, so we'll use x. We'll multiply everything on the left by x. We'll multiply everything on the right by x. Let's multiply by x. We'll multiply by x. And we'll multiply by x. When we do that, well, 5 times x just looks like that. Here, the x in the top and the x in the bottom cancel perfectly, leaving just that 4. Here, x times 1 is just 1x. Now, the answer to this equation is exactly the same as the answer to this equation, but here I have no fractions, so it's easier to deal with. Let's get all the x's on the same side of the equal sign. I'll get rid of a positive 5x with a minus 5x. Do that to both sides. 5x minus 5x is 0. Copy the 4. 1x minus 5x is negative 4x. Now I can get x by itself by dividing by negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is 1x, and 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 is the answer that if I plugged it back into the original equation would make it true. Let's try another example. Again, I have an equation, but there are fractions. When that happens, we like to multiply everything on the left side and everything on the right side by the least common denominator. Well, this denominator has a t, this denominator has a 4t. And since t divides evenly into 4t, we can use the larger one as the common denominator. I'll use 4t as my common denominator. I'm going to multiply here by 4t. I'll multiply here by 4t. And I'll multiply here by 4t. When I multiply here, the t in the bottom cancels with the t in the top, leaving me 4 times 4, 16. This is just 4t times 1, which is 4t. Look how nicely this cancels. 4t in the bottom, 4t in the top. The 4t in the bottom perfectly cancels the 4t in the top, leaving just that 5. Now we'll solve for t. If I want to get t by itself, I should get rid of this 16. 16 minus 16 is 0. Copy the 4t. 5 minus 16 is negative 11. Now divide by 4. And we'll say that t is equal to negative 11/4. That's some good looking math. Let's try one more example. I've got an equation with fractions. I should multiply all the way through by the common denominator. I need a common denominator for 2 and 3. 2 and 3 both divide evenly into 6. I'll also need an x. I'm going to multiply all the way through by 6x. When I multiply here, this x in the bottom perfectly cancels this x in the top. And the 2 and the 6 I can reduce. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. Until all that's left is 3 times 11. When I multiply here, the 3 in the bottom can reduce with the 6 in the top. Divide by 3, divide by 3. What's left is 2 times x times 2. That's 4x. When I multiply here, the x in the bottom cancels the x in the top, and I can still reduce the 2 and the 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2, leaving 3 times 7. Now solve for x. Let's get rid of this 33. (33 minus 33 is 0. Copy the 4x. 21 subtract 33 is negative 12. And divide. All right, your turn. Go work some problems, and I'll see you back here.